was, too blatantly, obviously sampled. And they just kind of laughed because most of my samples are so obscure. I like to do things like scratchy old children's records from thrift stores or historical speeches. I like to sample Herbert Hoover, things like that. So it's really interesting how sampling technology has changed and what can go on now. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. I'm just going to say that I think sampling is free publicity. I mean, I always say, where would Rick James be without MC Hammer? Or, where would the Beatles be without Danger Mouse? Or where would you two be without Negative Land? Probably nowhere. Thank you.
Okay, at this point, what I'd like to do is, so we've sort of focused on one area that's sort of sample-based and dealing with culture jamming, and now I want to move into an area that deals with also the technology behind manipulation of samples and culture jamming, and I thought the perfect person to bring into that would be Trademark G of the Evolution Control Committee. So we're going to do a quick switch right here in terms of the audio and in terms of the video. So one thing I wanted to do is encourage people to check out these websites that we've been talking about because there is a lot of cool stuff going on that on droplift.org, freespeechforsale.com, and snuggles.sensoryresearch.net, which is the General Snuggles website, which will provide you all sorts of cool stuff. So without further ado, Trademark G of the Evolution Control Committee.
Thanks a lot, Pan. Great. Hey, thanks very much. Hey, thanks very much for all of you for coming out here to the Church of Cut and Paste this Sunday morning. Also, big thanks to Hope and 2600 and also to the hacking community in general, and I don't just say that to be nice, but I actually say that from a personal way. Actually, I am come here to admit to you that, yes, I was a teenage computer hacker in 1982! Yes, thank you. So I started, I was a very active hacker in 1982 at age 16 up until when War Games came out and it just became a little bit too above ground. And so I kind of shifted at that point to music and art. So really, I very consciously changed this sort of hacking energy from a computer-directed hacking energy to an art and music hacking energy. And at that point, I launched the Evolution Control Committee. So that was, let's see, I think we did our first show in 1986. And somewhere around 1992, I pitted together Public Enemy, Chuck Deeves' vocals from Public Enemy, and Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, which pulled together to be the Whipped Cream mixes. And now I'm rather proud to say it's attributed to being the first mashup. Wow. How great is that? And so just to give you a little bit of the rest of the story, I've got a great nice video here that tells some other great stories of our history. It's a few years old now, but still pretty relevant. So let me just play it and we'll test out the audio video.
After 14 years of audio collage and sound exploration, Evolution Control Committee are starting to make some serious waves. In January 2000, Evolution Control Committee received legal threats from CBS.
This is the CBS Evening News.
Concerning the band's release Rocked by Rape.
Rocked by Rape. Rocked by Rape.
A critique of violence in network TV news, created from samples of Dan Rather's news commentary and his well-known shock phrasing.
With Dan Rather reporting from CBS.
As the band faced a possible legal battle with the media giant, they turned to the public for support by creating Napster bombs, MP3s of the Rocked by Rape single disguised as unheard songs by popular artists. Since then, they have appeared several times in Spin and Bizarre magazine, as well as NPR's All Things Considered.
There is a song circulating on the internet that CBS does not endorse, does not want sold, and does not want heard.
So what are Evolution Control Committee up to now, and what do these sound pirates have in store for us next? copyright violation for the nation.
Copyright violation for the nation. Copyright violation
For the nation. Yes, copyright violation for the nation has been our slogan since back when violating copyrights you had to try to. And so we've been cutting and pasting our way through legalities for quite a while, and not only through legalities of copyright and with audio, but also with hardware and things like that. Hacking is just a synonym for cutting, and cutting goes with pasting after all. And by the way, keep a note, cutting and pasting, that originates from cutting and pasting audio tapes, all right? So we cut and paste audio, but also hardware, software, laws, ideas, and things like that. This thing is called the Thimbletron. I have a little video here, too, for that. And this thing is basically something that I made to enter a couple times. Thank you. Basically, to be able to perform all this crazy sample-based cut and pasted ridiculousness, what do you really use to do that? You know, turntables, yeah, kind of, but that's not really all that. And so I made this thing called the Thimbletron. It's 10 ordinary sewing thimbles on my fingertips. They're all wired together into some custom electronics I've hacked up into this computer. And basically, when I touch the thimbles together, it'll trigger samples for me. So that way I can actually perform some of this stuff rather than just sit behind the laptop and look like I'm answering my email during a whole show. So I thought I'd give you a little demo of that here. By the way, just to note that the thimbles, the Thimbletron and everything is another example of the whole cut and paste aesthetic, because the thimbles, well, you know, stolen from my mom's sewing kit. The electronics that hacked up here, let's see, I just added the lights here, and those, the electronics behind those came from a baby monitor that I tore apart. And so you get the idea there. All right, let me just show you, you saw a little bit about that rocked by rape thing. I'll just show you the whole thing here and we'll play along with that.
This is the CBS Evening News. With Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. Danger, war, killer, fraud, CIA, mayhem, crisis, horrible, inflation, military threat, flaming debris, fatal heart attack, stress injuries, prison disaster, economic collapse, dangerous radiation, a tide of violence and human misery, a liar and an unremorseful killer. Communist international smuggling pipeline, starving victims, and how they die. Chemical weapons, carpet bomb deaths, top FBI to kill and injure children, police conspiracy, negative attacks, discipline, sex and drinking binges, dying of a heart attack, dying of breast cancer, dying of a Japanese nuclear bomb, mountains of credit card debt, the mountain of cocaine, tons of cocaine, atomic bomb radiation experiments, unwitting test subjects, dangerous radiation, marijuana abuse, hooked on drugs. Time for us to bug out. Rocked by rape. Rocked by rape. Rocked by rape. Sex, drugs, and rocked by rape. Nazi war criminals, cancer, garbage, murder, caution, terrorist, castigation, police conspiracy.